So here's the first thing I want you to think about. What do you think about when you think of leadership? What does this thing called leadership look like to you? Later on, I'm going to ask you that in a more specific way, but right now, what kinds of things do you think about when you think of leadership? Now, watch this. Who in here is a leader? Raise your hand if you're a leader. Raise your hand. Okay, hold on just a minute. Keep your hands up, and I want the rest of you to look around in the room who's raising their hand. We've got about 8 people raising their hand right now. Now, let me ask you this question. Who in here has influence with anybody else in your entire life? Raise your hand. Keep your hand up. Raise your hand. If you have influence with anybody, raise your hand. Okay, so everybody should be raising their hand right now, right? Okay, watch. This is the first box there on your notes you can fill out. This is what we're going to talk about. Leadership, in its very simplest and purest form, is influence. It's influence. And here's what you need to know. The people more often than not that raise their hand when I ask that question are the people that have the badge, the title, the parking space, or the bathroom. Because they have that position, then they say, oh, I'm a leader. And if you don't have that position, then you assume you're not a leader because you don't have the badge, the title, or the bathroom, right? But see, here's the thing. In some shape, form, or fashion, you lead everywhere you go and everything you do because every one of you carry influence with you everywhere you go. And here's more of that. You don't have a choice about that. You are going to influence no matter where you go. When you walk through the doors of the office, your workplace, what do you immediately start doing? You start influencing. When you go home at night and you walk through the doors at home, what do you begin to do? You begin to influence. And listen, ladies, the way you set your purse down on the table is automatic influence. You don't have a choice about that. The only choice you're going to make is whether it be positive or will it be negative. That is the only decision you will make. I oversee Springfield Youth Football. It's our Little League Tackle Football League here in Springfield. I tell our coaches this every year. This season, coach, and you know this is true if you've ever been around Little League sports, this season you will make a difference. You will make an impact in that child's life. You do not have a choice about whether you will or whether you won't. The only decision you're going to make is it going to be positive or is it going to be negative. So everywhere you go, when you go to work, when you go home, today when you go to lunch, that server at your table, the people around you, especially if you're wearing a Realty Group badge. Some of you need not wear that when you go out in public. But anyway, wherever you are, you're influencing. And here's the next part of this. It is the process and the stewardship of that influence to accomplish our goal with people. Write that down below that in that blank space there. To accomplish our goal with people. So this is leadership. It's me using the influence, stewarding the influence that I have, and being a good steward of that influence to accomplish what I need to accomplish with the people that I'm around. I don't know what your definition of a customer is, but in most people's minds, if they're working in a position like you, the customer would be your client who's looking for a home. Or if you go to a restaurant, the customer would be the person sitting at the table. Or if you're selling shoes and that customer is who you're selling shoes to. But a customer is the next person in the process. So whoever it is you're going to deal with next, if I ever say customer in this session, that's who I'm talking about. It's the next person in the process. So literally everybody around us becomes our quote-unquote customer, right? And how I steward my influence with them is going to dictate whether or not I accomplish my goal with them. Now, at the end of our time together, I'm going to pull all this together. I'm going to show you, and I'm going to repeat myself a little bit, but here's what I want you to get. Every single one of you in here, you have a goal with everybody sitting around you right now. You have not articulated that goal, but you do have a goal with them. You have a goal with your client. You have a goal with your leader, whoever it is that you report to. You have a goal with your spouse. You have a goal with your children. Teachers have a goal with their students. What would a teacher's goal with their student be? Teacher in school. What would their... I didn't know if I lost you already. I was like, I don't know. What would the goal be? What would a teacher's goal be with their student? To what? Good grades. Right. What else? What might that goal be?
Advance them to the next grade.
Okay, advance them. Get rid of them. Move them to the next grade, to educate them, to make sure they've got what they need for that grade level to move them on. A coach with their player. I also coach high school football, so my goal with my players is that I want to get the most out of them that I can get. What is your goal, for example, with your spouse? Deb and I have been married almost 30 years. We've known each other for about 25 years. And my goal with her, come on, you got to pedal a little faster, right? My goal with her is to make her my best friend. Now, who's been married a long time? Let me see you raise your hand. All right, listen, does that happen just automatically? No. That's something you have to work at. I don't have it written down, but in my mind, that's my goal. My goal is I want to make her my best friend, especially now that our 3 adult children no longer stay at home all the time. Oh, they come back, but they don't stay home all the time. And so it's just me and her. And I have for years said, I want you to be my best friend. That's my goal with her. My goal with my kids. I have a goal with my kids. I wanted to raise my kids to be and do what it is they were designed and created to be and do in the confines of who they are. I didn't lie to my kids and say you can do anything you want to do if you set your mind to it, because that's just not true. If either one of my 2 boys would have come to me and said, Dad, I want to be the president, I'd said, you need to pick something else. Because there ain't nobody going to vote for you, man. It ain't going to happen. And I'll go one further, that if you ever are elected, I will be moving out of the country. It ain't going to happen. You say, oh, that's mean. No, it's honest and it's real. That's my goal with them. And guess what? Now they're all in their 20s and they're pursuing things based on that. I accomplished my goal with them, one of the goals with them.